Welcome to County Fair on Waycross Community Media. I'm Government Programming Coordinator Dana Gagnon, and today we have in our studio Hamilton County Commissioner Stephanie Summerow Dumas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course, we're in Forest Park, so we also know you as former Mayor Stephanie Summerow Dumas.
Yes.
Thanks for coming out to make sure that we stay connected to what's happening with the county. I know a lot of that happens downtown at the Todd Portune building, so I appreciate your time out here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So the last time you were here, it was the beginning of 2019, and you had just won an election and been sworn in, and we were celebrating Black History Month of 2019 with the fact that you were the first African-American commissioner in the history of Hamilton County.
Yes.
That was exciting.
Absolutely.
Now you have been in that position. You're now president of the Board of Commissioners.
Yes.
What kind of outstanding things from that time do you want to make sure we know about here in Forest Park?
Oh, there are so many things that have happened with the county since we last met at 19. Of course, I was just getting started. And so just really proud of the fact that we have 3 women on our commission, 3 elected women on our commission. As you mentioned, I'm the first president, African-American president in the state of Ohio of a commission also. So we've been, when I talked to you, of course, there was no pandemic. And so things have just changed tremendously as it relates to the funding and services that we're able to give our residents. And so I can talk more about that if you'd like. But with the pandemic, we were blessed to be able to get CARES Act funding because we wondered, what are we going to do? How are we going to help all of those who need help? And we didn't want to leave anyone behind. And so the CARES Act funding came, about $146 million, came for every service that you could think of, from housing to homeless to small businesses. We have now helped with mortgage relief. So anything you can think of, public safety, being able to fund more health people to be out in the street. So much has happened since I last talked with you.
That is definitely one of my questions, that your first year on the commission, there were the usual things that someone at Hamilton County needs to think about. But after that, COVID really took over all other concerns. And when you talk about the CARES Act money, I know one of the difficulties was, okay, we're getting money now, we're getting federal money for the county. How do we disperse that to the right people that need it?
Absolutely. And the other thing, there was a sales tax that ended at Union Terminal. And the question was, do we take the stand of continuing that sales tax on our residents because we didn't know where we would be financially due to the COVID impact. And we decided, well, the majority of our commission decided to continue. It's not a new tax, but to continue the tax. And that's why we're in the situation that we are now financially in our county.
And you talk about the situation financially. You just finished the 2022 budget.
Yes.
What kind of projects will we see in that 2022 budget?
Well, we are not only balanced, but we're structurally balanced, which means because we continued the sales tax, because of the CARES Act money, our revenue is higher than it's ever been in decades with a S. We have approximately 18.3% revenue over our budget. We're also, when I say structurally balanced, we're able to do the things we've never been able to do, like capital improvements. We've given raises. We gave hazard pay to our staff people. We've been able to hire and retain our people that are there because they're leaving to do other things. So they're really looking for a new lease on life. Some of them, it's like, this COVID just really made me take a look at my life and what I want to do. So when you look, we're looking at a satellite office, possibly out here in Forest Park. I had mentioned that, people, everybody doesn't want to go downtown. So we put it in our ARP funding, which is our American Rescue funding that came after the CARES Act, which we have to spend by the end of 2026. And so that American Rescue funding was 186 million. We get half this time, and then we'll get the other half next year to spend. But through that, we're able to improve elevators and build remodel some of our jail facilities. We're able to also, as I said, the satellite office, and then we're able to pay for infrastructure as it relates to the 911 facility, and the Emergency Management Agency is going to move in together in a new building in Springdale because we're able to use that money for that purpose. So it's done a lot of good for our county.
People don't realize how many services they get at the county level of government. You know, we sort of get familiar with local government a little bit. We know we have heard in the last couple of years a lot more about our state government,
Right.
Thanks to COVID. But at the county level, there are a lot of services that are part of our everyday life,
Right.
and to have that infrastructure get weakened and not maintained is going to affect us in a big way if that's not taken care of.
You reminded me of issue 7 that passed. I keep bringing up tax levies, but people are seeing the importance of the fact that we can't do it with everything with our general fund, but we call it our all fund. Issue 7 passed through Metro and SORTA, and they gave $222 million toward infrastructure, specifically the Western Hills Viaduct, and they will continue to give money for that. So our infrastructure is just, we know transportation is not what it should be. They're looking at 24-hour service through Metro, and also they're looking at on the spot. Like you can call and say, I need to go to this place, and they'll come and pick you up, almost like a Uber service would be. So the highways, the byways, all the roads, you hear Cincinnati is trying to get their potholes together, where our engineer is responsible for the whole county, which includes its total. Now our census went up about 6%, but we're up to 830,000 people now in the whole county. People are a little confused about, they think the city of Cincinnati is an entity of its own, but it's not. It's part of Hamilton County that has 200 and so residents, and the other 500,000 live right outside of the city limits. So I've been trying very hard to market Hamilton County and let people know that you are part of Hamilton County. The city of Cincinnati is part of it. And so even with the Bengals and their Super Bowl, we got a playoff ball to represent Hamilton County, and I let them know that, and they were saying on the news, Cincinnati is so excited. I said, yeah, but 500,000 other people outside the limits are extremely excited too. So I think what I've tried to do as a commissioner is just to educate our people in Hamilton County about what Hamilton County does, like you were saying, public safety, anything you can think of, public safety, infrastructure, police, fires, which is public safety. Dana, if you came up with anything and you asked, is Hamilton County behind emergency management? I'm on the executive team for that. You know, I'm on the executive team for Cincinnati Visitors Bureau. As we know, our tourism has really diminished because of COVID, but it's starting to come up. And also we're trying to get FIFA to come in for the soccer for 2026. There are certain things that we have to do as a county and with the Bengals Stadium to make that happen, but we're highly considered for that opportunity, and I hope that will happen for us.
There is, when you talk about the census and seeing that Hamilton County is at its biggest number, I think you posted that in 40 years, its highest number in 40 years. And then we're here in Forest Park. Forest Park just became the second biggest city in the county. And so when you talk about that, second to the city, of course, as we talk downtown.
Sure.
And when you talk about that, since Hamilton County is more than that downtown space. And
Absolutely.
I know here in Forest Park, they're like, yeah, we are now the second biggest city. We're out here. accessing services. Like you said, there's a huge number of people that find it difficult to get downtown. So satellite offices.
And we talked about we didn't yet, but the 513 relief bus went all over the county because we knew it was difficult for people to get out. And so we are now purchasing a bus of our own. That was borrowed through UC. And our bus will be equipped to go all over everywhere, not just for, hopefully we won't need the vaccinations long, but for social service applications, for dental help, assistance. So we're working on that right now to get that bus going, and it'll be owned by Hamilton County.
And 513 Relief, we talked about getting funding and getting help. And then, okay, but now we need to match it to the people that need it. A big part of what you did as commissioners, as the three of you, was the 513relief.org website and the phone number and all of that. Do you want to talk about how that works?
Sure, absolutely. And I happen to have a little card. You probably can't see it, but it's a 513.org card, and we pass it out. I actually asked, can we have some cards? That when I'm in the grocery store and I try to tell people about it and they try to remember, or you can dial 211, which is connected to United Way, I don't want them to have to try to remember during the hustle and bustle of their day. And I asked, could we put it in Spanish also? And so we can reach everyone, and they can just take this little card and call and let rental assistance is a big deal. We were trying to stop the eviction moratorium. We were not able to stop it, but as you know, people are still being put out, even though we have the money to give landlords to allow people to stay in a little longer. So I realize there are areas, there are people that we have not even reached that may not know anything about this, but we're trying to enhance our media and our marketing and on television and billboards to let people know we have money here for you. And if you qualify, we'll certainly be able to help you out. And with the small businesses, we actually did 3 rounds of small business funding. It's so important to us because small businesses are the heart of our nation, our county. And so we did 1 grant funding, and we were able to help. Finally, after the 3rd round, we were able to help 1,400 small businesses, no duplication, and with $13.5 million we gave out for small businesses. 50% were minority, 50% were women-owned businesses, and 30% were women and minority. So just real proud of that, but also very aware that there are some that we missed. We can't get everybody. And so we hope that people will continue to reach out to us when they have the need.
I was one of the things, and of course at Waycross we partnered with the commissioners trying to make sure people got to know about it when it opened up. And one of the things that impressed me the most about the site is that most people who need help with something need help with more than one thing. If you need rent support, you might also need food support. And you might also need to know what Metro has available for transportation support. People who need small business help might be people that have literally never asked for any grants before or any help before. So it's one number. Just call and say, I don't know what I need, how I need help with it. And they're connected to all the programs.
Absolutely. And we realized we needed to do that. And so I just thought about, now who are we missing? Are we missing the seniors? So we put more money in for seniors. Who are we missing? Are we missing the veterans? Are we missing the youth? So every component, every group, we helped. And so we still have monies left. We have about $5 million left in our reserve through the ARP money. But we just didn't want to miss anybody. And so and it was just, like I said, a blessing that this money came through. Where we would be without it, I don't even want to think about it, but we've been able to help, so.
And the extra steps it took to get that money to the people that needed it. It was coming in, but that doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to get to the people.
That people will know about it. Yeah, so.
You were recognized for a rapid reemployment program. Can you talk about that?
That was through Ohio Job Means program. And so we knew that you can help somebody, but really people want to help themselves. And so if we could give them the tools through that program to be able to pull themselves up and be independent and take care of their own household, then and that's what the county did. We worked with Ohio Jobs Means, we worked with JFS to make that happen, and it was extremely successful.
And we talk about facilities outside of downtown that are part of county facilities, and you mentioned that we got to see the coroner's office open a brand new
yes.
state-of-the-art lab this
Yes.
year. Talk about that project, because you were part of that for a while.
Yeah, it was a long project. Even before I came, Topper Toon was really my colleague who has since passed, and we named the building after him. She worked, and Summerow, our coroner, worked for many years, about 7 years, I think, to get that going. And so it's a regional office, actually. So we have so much state-of-the-art equipment that people can come from all over. So we'll recoup some revenue from that also. But it's just an absolutely fabulous facility.
And when you hear coroner's office, you think, okay, how much facilities? But the crime lab facilities,
Right.
And what people, like you said, from other areas don't have anything like this and have to come to Hamilton County.
Right.
The stories during the opening about what they used to have to do before they had the
unbelievable.
right facilities are fantastic, but also a little bit scary. So it's great that
It
they have it
is.
now.
I can remember walking past there as a young girl because I lived in that area. So to see it now is unbelievable. So there will also be a lot of training and education that takes place. So it's a great thing in Blue Ash. So yeah, and I just recently moved from Forest Park to Blue Ash, but Forest Park is my heart for sure. Yeah, it's a great place in the center of everything for people to come. So.
Sure. And I know you have to say that because we're sitting here in Forest Park.
Yeah,
But we'll still claim you. We'll still claim
guess
you.
what? And I advocate, and just to make sure that everybody knows about, a lot of the cities and the villages, they'll come to me and they'll say, well, you guys, the county, never get, you never give us anything for our sidewalks or whatever. And I said, well, you know what? I looked at the list, and I don't believe you were on the list for even applying, not necessarily Forest Park, but just in general. That's another area. People kind of live in their silos, not only the people, but the entities, the villages, the townships. And so they need to, open their eyes and listen. And as I say, about part of my responsibility is to let people know that the commission position and Hamilton County is so extremely important to the whole region. And that's why lots of people are becoming aware and wanting to be commissioners. And I love it. I want more people. I want youth. I want everybody to be more involved in the boards and the commissions that we have for the county. Even if you don't want to run for office, get on one of those boards. And we started a new contract with the Cincinnati Animal Care Society. SCPA is no longer working with us, and they're doing some great things over there too with our animals and we're looking at a new building for them because it's just a little too cramped for our animals. So we're working on that. So as I said, there are lots of things going on right now.
That's a really great project to know about.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And a really great point. People who are, why isn't this happening, or how can I influence?
Yeah.
You can at your city level and at your county level. You don't have to run for office. You can be on committees. You can be someone who is making it happen and part of the choices. Forest Park is seeing that kind of youth coming in because they have now. I have not checked the entire list, but I think the youngest mayor that they have ever
Yes,
had,
I know
with
him.
Aaron Brown.
Yeah, I said, what, Aaron? Okay, yeah. Well, the young, we need young people. I was on a Zoom call Sunday afternoon around 4:00, and it was young people from about 5 or 6 different universities about the environment and their idea of what we need to do with sustainable energy and stuff and things like that. And it was just a joy to hear those young people and their energy and their ideas.
So talking about joyful things, Hamilton County, as you mentioned, we got to celebrate the Bengals.
Yes.
Doing phenomenally this year.
Absolutely.
And you had a wager with Kansas City.
Oh,
yes. Could you tell us about that?
Right. I just knew that the Bengals were going to win. So I made a call to the Kansas City supervisor, they call. He's the head of the council or whatever, and they were so nice. They were just so they sent me a jersey from Kansas City when we beat them, and they sent some ribs for a youth group, which this past Saturday we went over to feed the youth group. But it was just a fun thing, and they were just hospitable, and we tried to do it with LA, but weren't really able to set that up, which is a good thing for us. But anyway, it went well, and I just have a special relationship. As a child, again, my father spent all his adult life working for the Bengals. And so when he got sick, they were just really great partners with my family and all of that. And even Mike Brown, when I see him, he said, yeah, we have a connection, But but other than that, I've always been a sports fan. I was at the Freezer Bowl and all. So it was just a great time because we had an ability to be distracted. And I think the news people did it on purpose, not talking about the COVID numbers, but everybody was so busy talking about the Bengals, and it was just a nice time for people to join together. Yeah.
We just wanted to talk about
Something else. Yeah.
But and I only bring up the wager because it's a partnership between different communities, and it works out doing something good in the community.
Right.
And LA, I don't think you were ready for our skyline.
They weren't
yet,
ready.
Sorry.
Yeah. And the greatest part was to see Mr. White in his Bengal shirt. And when we showed him, everybody just had the greatest time, including him. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah. So.
I'm so glad that, is there anything as we look forward, and I won't keep you too much longer, but is there anything that you want to make sure Hamilton County residents know looking forward to 2022?
Well, I think it's real important that through this pandemic, we have, as I said, our budget, we're thriving. We're not striving, we're thriving in Hamilton County, which is unheard of with all the things we've had going on. We also think about, I think about the people that don't have their loved ones with them. And so we feel for them and we understand that. And so we're just moving through that together, our whole county, and we're continuing to meet the needs of our people. And I'm open for people to call me or email me. My chief of staff is Bishop Hilton, and people can get in touch with us. We can't meet all your needs, and all our answers are not going to be ones that you may like or not like, but I'll be honest about what we can do and what we can't do. But other than that, we're just moving forward. We're working together and trying to not only hear, but we're listening and keeping our ears to the ground about what's going on in this county. We know it's not great. We know, we hear about the violence that's going on. How do we do something to work with the city, which a new mayor that they have? And, we've been meeting with him. I've been meeting with him. When I talk to you, Dana, I keep saying we've been meeting with them. People say, well, who is she talking to? Well, see, when I go out and talk as the president of the commission, I always include my colleagues. So, but this, and I want to make sure I do that. So, but I've been meeting with the mayor to talk about how we can, partner on some issues. And so our board is just working really close together because our vision and goals are the same. Maybe how we go about it might be a little different. But we have the same vision and goal for a good quality of life for our people.
And I think that listening point is what I've been hearing from all three of you, in that you're accessible.
Right.
We have a county level of government, which means, don't forget, these are people that you can reach out to.
Right.
They're not in Columbus. They're right here in Hamilton County. And I think that makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
You are here just to make sure that what we need in the county is the things that are coming to the county.
Right. And I grab onto my experience as a mayor, as you said earlier, my experience as a social worker. And so that allows me to be compassionate and to hear. I mean, that's 101, social work 101, that you listen and you try to understand and be compassionate. So I grab on my experience as a village manager and to pull all departments together. So all of that together allows me to be the best commissioner that I can be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming down. I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy.
Yes.
And I just know that it makes a big difference for the folks that are in the area to make sure they feel connected to what's happening in the county.
Thank you for inviting me. Thanks.
And thank you for watching County Fair on Waycross Community Media. That means you want to be informed what's happening in your county, and I'll see you next time.